Welcome back. This is M-Dog, and we are going to try a pretty basic approach here to 83-145. We're actually just going to do some carp fishing with Tutti Frutti corn only. Actually, you know what? I even want to take PVA off of this one. I'm not even sure that PVA, with this basic of a setup, I'm not even sure that PVA makes that much of a difference. I would guess that it still can make some difference, but I know that you can do pretty good here without PVA. I've done it. So I've got PVA on the first and third line just to get a little bit of that PVA working. However, I mean, we'll see how it is today if we get a decent bite rate on that middle rod. But in most cases, when I've done no PVA on just like double corn like this, you know, sometimes it's a little bit of a difference with PVA, but it's not as drastic as if you're fishing with boilies or more complicated bait setups, right? But one thing I would like to do is experiment with not that. We're not gonna do catapult. We're gonna do spide. Let's see if we have any 2D stuff already made up. We don't. So let's make up some basic 2D. We might do a couple of things of it. One of it for spide and one of it to make some more PVA bags. We've only got 17. I don't know that we'll go through 17 in the time that we're recording, but we could. Oh, look at this first fish. It's like our good luck fish. That's sick. That is so pretty. That's awesome. We undercast that one, but it's fine. All right, so we're going to, what am I trying to do here? We're getting a bite on that middle one. All right, so we're gonna make some dry mix. We're gonna go 2D with corn flour, and we're just gonna we're gonna use just straight 2D stuff. I think we won't include the 3 though. We will put the 10 in there. We'll just go down in order: 10, 8, 6. And then 4, and then definitely put 2D here. All right, so here's the first fish on the middle rod with no PVA. And we expect a fairly small average with this type of bait setup. But we're hoping every once in a while we'll hit some pretty decent fish still, though. You're obviously a lot less invested price per fish when you're using this kind of simple bait approach, especially if you don't have the PVA on there. But I do want to do a little bit of testing with this. So let's make two things of this. And we'll turn one of them into PVA. And the other one we're going to put on our spide rod, which is on 7. I'm trying to decide. Yeah, we'll do the 5 portion, because that way we can throw it twice. And let's see. All right, we may have to cast this a little harder than we cast, and we're just aiming just left of the. Oh wait, hold on, that might not be far enough. We'll see if that goes 35. Yep, that was pretty much perfect. All right, so we'll sit that there and make sure it soaks into the water good. I don't think you have to leave this one in very much, because the way this rocket is made is when it hits the water, that's what forces it open. That red part of the front, basically. Is that a leather or a frame? Those are the only two options. That's a frame. All right. We want to try to get these. So now we want to try to get these as close to where we put the spot as possible every time we cast it. Why is it? There we go. I can tell all of my sound is pretty low. All right, we'll give it another minute and then we'll cast it one more time. Ooh, good dig. All right. So since this is just the 5 portion. See what I'm saying though? This rocket has that red button on the front. I believe that's what opens it. We also have the 10 portion, but we're not using that one. We're going to use the 5. That gives us the ability to cast it twice and not feel like we're overfeeding it all. Boom. Okay, we did throw that one a little too hard, but it should still be fine because, you know, it's right in that same area. So we'll feed the water a little bit with Tutti stuff. We've also got PVA on the first and third rod. So we're feeding a little bit, but we're feeding with the 10-gram bags. We don't have it on all 3 lines. And I do want to try to test with spotting more often. I also sometimes want to work in, instead of, if we're fishing with boilies especially, I want to work in using, let's see, using the catapult with boilies. We can also throw ground bait, but I like using the boilie one. We can use boilies or pellets on this one. But I'm not going to do it now because I do think overfeeding is a thing. And so I don't want to risk overfeeding here. But maybe next time we do this, instead of spotting, we'll throw some extra boilies or pellets in there according to what we're fishing with. All right, there we go. I think there's a fish on. So this is the non-PVA one, still hanging in there, doing well. Bite rate's just as good as the other two, if not slightly better. It's a good sign. Although at this point we have done some spotting, so whatever our results are, it does include spotting now as well. So we kind of, you know, we did the spotting sort of during the off time, so I don't know if that's the better strategy, to try to make the off time a little bit better, or if it would be better to spot like right before the, you know, hot time in terms of like when the best carp fishing is going to happen, to try to make it even better. Again, I just haven't done enough testing with spotting. I had PVA pretty quickly when Amber first came out and we got sort of the rework with carp fishing and how some of the mechanics worked and everything. I did not have PVA for the first maybe like month or so, and so I did some spotting then, and it seemed to work really well. But then around that time is when I finally unlocked PVA. And so other than those just first few, you know, days or weeks or whatever, when Amber came out, I really haven't gone back and experimented much with spotting. So now that is rare. You know, if we weren't using such a basic bait approach, it's not often you see 691 gram carp at Amber. Now at Bear, Old Berg, whatever, sure. But that small of a carp here, that's pretty uncommon, I think. But you can tell this spot's really active. I mean, we've had some pretty nice Pretty good bite rate, even though we're at a less than ideal time of day. We've already had the one rare. And there's a mirror. So now we've had common, frame, mirror, and the red Starvis scaly carp. Frame sided again. I was hoping that wouldn't be a carp. Is that a nibble on the middle line? Looks like it. Looks like it. So almost, ooh, that was to the right there. Almost half the carp we're catching are these like juvenile, too small. But that's time of day as well. Not only the baits approach we're using, but also time of day. There we go. That's a little bigger. Again, this bite rate. Frame. No, that's a mirror, isn't it? I think that's a mirror carp. Very small. It's going to really be dependent on how much it improves once it's evening and morning on whether or not this is a good spot or not. I mean, it's one thing to have a great bite rate, but if it continues like this with this percentage of juveniles, that's a big disadvantage. Now, one thing that might help a little bit that, you know, we typically would do. In fact, I think the last time I made a Tutti corn video like a week or two ago, I had on like either 2/0 or 4/0 hooks. That might help a little bit, but you know, large one hooks, they should be fine for carp. Excuse me. Another small one, huh? There we go. Little better. What time is it? 17:30? It's looking good. It is looking good. Hmm. All right, let's see if we get anything interesting here in the late afternoon, early evening. Little micro frame, I think. The small frames are hard to distinguish, but I think it is, yeah. We overshot that one a little bit. golly, I want to get out of these small ones. I want to see that we're going to get a good enough percentage of not juveniles to make this spot work without changing our approach. I mean, obviously this spot works. It's just what percentage of tiny commons can you cope with? So here's the non-PVA rod, again catching another really nice fish. Maybe the secret is don't use PVA, or don't bring out your PVA except like maybe at late evening and in anticipation of early morning, like that 5, 6, 7 a.m. area. Try to hit something big then, but might just be because it's a lot less painful. I mean, we're still making pretty decent silver. The XP's okay and all that. The only consideration is like, really, if you're using PVA, how many of these like 1 kilo commons can you handle? Like, look at this guy. Is that a frame? That's like less than a kilo, isn't it? Oof. So that's the question, right? It may just be that the spot's better without PVA, but I still believe you've got a really good chance, I think, of around this time and then around like that 5, 6 a.m. of actually catching some 10 plus kilo carp, even on these single corn or large one hooks. We'll see, but I think that's the case. Uh-oh, that sounds like a good one. As long as our friction breaks at the right spot, that's straight up pulling the line out. And again, that's no PVA. Might be time to drop PVA. Might be time to just drop the PVA. I don't know. Maybe just spod, no PVA. But this is going to be like a, you know, this is definitely a 10 plus kilo carp, I think. Yeah, it looks like a pretty decent common. I think that will come in over 10 kilo and maybe a little bit, maybe a significant amount over 10. Maybe more like 14 or 15, I can't tell. It's not too big, but he's got a little bulk to him. I mean, yeah, it's decent size. Yeah, 17 and a half. There you go. There you go. 17 and a half kilos, no PVA. That's pretty cool. More of that, please. Come on. I think it's another common. It's another nice one, though. It's not as big as the last one, obviously, but it's still that 10 kilo plus, unless I'm mistaken. 12.6. Yeah, so now all of a sudden we're in the money, you know. Now we're making some silver. Maybe it starts to be worth what we went through during the middle part of the day as we start to catch marker after marker on, you know, double corn. So very little cost investment in the bait. Ooh, it's a crucian. See, when they're this small, I'd rather it be a crucian than some, like, you know, non-marker common. I was kind of surprised that's the first crucian we've caught, considering the baits we're using. I don't like how that line went slack again. I thought I had tightened it up. Maybe I tightened it up too much and it popped back up loose. I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave it, though. Uh-oh, what's that? It's a frame? Got a decent little frame, I think. 4 or 5 kilo frame, maybe. Oh, yeah. That's a nice one. 5 kilo frame. Alright, are we going to put PVA back on? Now that it's like overnight hours, I think we will. This is the PVA we made. We know this PVA is matching the spod that we're using exactly, which is always nice. And I will put a little bit more spod in there, probably at about 2 or 3 a.m. in anticipation of trophy time. That like 5, 6, 7 a.m. period of the morning. Another frame. Ooh, don't take off on me. Let's see if we can just get him in. There we go. Oh, nice frame. No PVA. Yeah, this looks good. I do think it's worth it. Now that I've seen the, you know, the evening, late afternoon, evening. Did I pull it too soon? Oh, that was risky. I will say I think this spot is worth it now. You do have to go through, and again, maybe just take off the PVA. If you're using PVA at all, just take it off in the middle of the day because you catch way too many of these, right? But once we get past that time of day, you start having some of those 10 plus mixed in. What if we got like 3 or 4 now over 10 kilo? Again, on single corn. It's a good time. Uh-oh. That looks like a decent one, maybe. I'm not sure. Not sure. Yeah, it's not bad. But this is fun. And again, like if you are trying to level up your bottom fishing, people always ask me, what should I go for if I want to level up bottom fishing? I'm trying to unlock this or that on bottom fishing. This would be a good spot for it. The key is you want to rotate, right? You don't want to go for the same fish. You don't want to use the same rig type over and over. But whatever you do, you want it to be a nice active bite rate just to have the best chance to hit those occasional points. So this would be a good spot just because of how fast the bite rate is. I mean, this is like, you know, you're catching carp, but the bite rate is more similar to non-carp species, like, you know, or whatever. So most carp spots are not this active. But we're catching a lot more small stuff too. I mean, we've got 27 minutes, 31 fish. I don't think I've turned any into fish pieces, so I think that's accurate. But anyway. so funny how even this time of day we're like occasionally getting these like tiny carp. But for the most part, it's been much better. Oh my goodness, 2 rares? That is awesome. And this one was without PVA. Another very pretty fish. That is very cool. There's a common. And I'm really just kind of chill until 2 a.m. or so, then we'll make one last push. All right, we're about, I don't know, half an hour in game from doing spot again. Ooh, it's a decent one. I wonder if this will be a mirror. It's just so late at night. It could be a late common, though. I'm not sure about frames overnight, actually. It is a frame. All right. Pretty decent little frame. Here we go. Do that a couple more times. Shoot. I mean, I won't be shocked if we end up with, 50 fish or more in just under an hour or something like that. I need to respot real quick. For carp, this is incredible bite rate. There we go. There we go. All right, it's time. It's now or never. Let's see something nice here. Let's see something nice on the Tutti. That is tiny. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 fish out of 42 that were non-marker size. But some of those markers are also still juveniles and not worth much silver. It's like to actually get a non-marker common is not an easy thing, actually. It's a nice fish. It's that time of morning where we hope to see a couple of these nice fish. Now, you know, obviously this isn't the best hour of carp fishing I've ever seen. Even if we were to catch a trophy right now, it's really good, but it's not the best. I'm not arguing this is just like can't miss or anything, but it is really good, especially if you don't have PVA, or if you're just looking for a good bite rate to try to level up bottom fishing. I mean, I'm sure that's a nice frame, by the way. I'm sure we'll end up doing okay silver wise. We've done fine XP, but there have been times where spots have had like this good of bite rates without all the small undersized stuff, right? So again, it's not like this is the best spot ever, but it's above average even with this kind of basic bait approach. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, that's the thing. When you have a fast bite rate and you're carp fishing, it's just fun. 6 something. I'll check the size in a minute. I'm getting behind on fish here, so I'm trying to stay caught up. This is the hottest part. This is the best part of the day for fishing carp. So we want to get them in and out of the water as quick as we can to try to take advantage of this time of day. There's a frame, I think. Sorry, that was a mirror. 7 something. There's another nice one. So 3 nice fish in a row. Again, you just tell such a difference this time of day. And that's why I spotted the water right in anticipation of this time. Just try to do as good as we can from that, especially that 5 to 7 a.m. period. – Another nice common. Still get a small one even this time of day, apparently. That was on the non-PVA rod. Frame carp. We are just barely staying on top of this bite rate. And I'm having to be pretty aggressive to do it. And there's a common. So next fish is fish number 50. And we'll see the time here. We'll also look and see the last few fish we've caught. I know I've been clicking through them fast. Just want to make sure I was staying on top. So we're at 48 minutes. So the last few fish we had I think the one I started going fast was where? I'm not even sure. So 12.6 frame, 6.5 common, 7.3 mirror, 10.4 common, 2.3 frame, 5.8 frame, 3.7 common. Pretty good. All right, we'll go just a couple more minutes here. Whew. It's a leather, isn't it? A little bit of everything out here. All right, we'll cast it in for another minute here. By the way, you can always look on this to see how long it's expected to last. This one's expected to last 16 hours, so we did have some overlap, some doubling up there between the first cast and the second cast of spod. All right, this might be the last fish here. So we're at 51 fish, 51 minutes. We've averaged a fish a minute. It's pretty crazy for carp fishing. Another nice fish here. Not a nice fish here, but that middle rod looks pretty pulled over. Not bad. Not a bad one to go out on. Okay. Let's go see how we did. That's a fun spot. Enough variety, chance of rares, decent silver, decent XP. I like it. Weird orders. Weird cafe right now. Oops. 384. That frame. So 384, less than an hour, active fishing, pretty good. You're going to end up, I mean, you know, 400 an hour basically, for, at least for the first hour. Not bad at all. And you're going to sometimes trophy there, so that's going to change it also. Hey, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Should have a little more time the next couple days. Possible stream, definitely, hopefully a couple videos at least. Been just real busy over the last 5 or 6 days, so sorry about the lapse in content here, but I will see you again soon. Tight lines, everybody.